Hey everybody, welcome to Doc's Autos. If this is your first time stopping by, thank you very much. We are working on the 2015 BMW X5 today. Otherwise, check out some of our other playlists up here. There's something we've done on other cars. You might like that too. Anyways, our task here is to creatively try and replace what's in this box in the car. Now what we have is the washer fluid reservoir sensor, and typically that goes in the reservoir, which is a great simple task, except on the X5 and other models it is behind the fender, and I really don't want to take off the fender if possible, not because I'm lazy or shy away from the work, but that also means I have to take out a lot of these plastic rivets, and they're one use only, so there's a little bit of a cost associated with that. I think they're $3 or $4 a piece last time I bought them last year. So if I can not replace them, great. The issue I've got is this sensor in the tank is damaged. I assume the light comes on as soon as I start the car. The reservoir is full. And from what I've read online, the issue is using the wrong type of washer fluid. The orange stuff specifically apparently causes these sensors to prematurely fail. And I did read some of the forum posts about using the actual BMW washer fluid or some of the Prestone green stuff to clean the scuzz, the buildup off the sensor. But for the last number of months, that has not done the trick. So I figure in the middle of winter, why not try and fix this without taking off the fender. If I have to take off the fender, I will, and we'll get to that point eventually. For now, what my game plan is, there's a couple of Torx heads behind the door here to remove, and there's a couple of Torx heads up here, and what I'm hoping is I can just eep the panel back enough to get my hand in there, maybe throw my scope in there if I need to, but get this sensor out pretty much as a twist lock from what I see, and put the new sensor in. That is my hope. And if that's the case, it's going to be a quick, relatively quick, simple fix. This sensor was only about $20 from a BMW dealer. Where did it come from? Texas, maybe? I've got the package over there. Anyways, my local dealer just didn't feel like calling me back after multiple inquiries, so I went online, found the part, and here it is. So let's see. Open up the hood, open up the door, and let's see what we can do for getting some of these Torx head bolts out, Torx head screws, whatever you want to call them, and see if I can get my hand back here and into the sensor. Alrighty, well first off, we've got 3 of these little plastic pins, rivets, whatever you want to call them. Pop them out. You can use a screwdriver, your fingernail, a knife, whatever. This thing was just looking at me in the toolbox as soon as I opened it up, so we'll use this. Nice trim removal tool. There we go, I've got these 3. We've got 1, 2, oh, missed a pin. All right, 4 of those. 4 of those plastic pins, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 T30 screw heads to come out of here. Now, of course, when you put this back on, you'll probably have to readjust slightly for panel gap. When I refit this panel last summer, was not a OE panel, it was an OEM. The only problem I had was this top edge here kind of veered out just a hair, but doesn't bother me enough to heat it up and try and bend it in, potentially cause the paint to pucker or anything. But if you want to see this whole rebuild process, there's a link up here. Now, these are all loose here. And I've got, I believe, 1, 2, 3 screws back here behind the door. Not a whole lot of room to work back here. I got a longer extension, or multiples, because an 1/8 turn per time was going to take forever. All right, those 3 screws are out back there. Now, thinking this should come up over without much effort. And I could possibly see what's back here. I've got 2 other screws down here I could take out, but that also involves me pulling off the lower rock guard or running guard. Alrighty, so far it's not looking that promising. Guess I'm gonna have to take off the lower rock guard there, take those bolts out. More than I wanted to do, but hey, I guess as long as we're already into it this far. There's bolts back here, but I'm not really being held up here at all because where I have to be is back here, which again, these plastic rivets are going to be my problematic issue as well. So I'm going to grab my scope real quick and see if I can figure out where on this reservoir assembly that sensor is. That'll help me kind of figure out where I'm going from here. Alrighty, well, I ran my scope down here. I didn't readily see it, so that tells me it's going to be hiding further down here out of visible range from my camera and likely my arms. So I'm just going to put it back together right now. I'm going to stop at the dealership in a couple of days here on my next trip into the city, pick up whatever it is, 8 or 9 of these plastic rivets. Then we'll come back, undo all the riveting, take all this crap off, find our sensor, and replace it. Now, if I can sneak most of the stuff off, great. I looked, I could take off some of the inner fender well, but that's going to get me behind where the tank is. So again, not terribly helpful. So I guess my attempt at doing it the quick and easy way isn't going to work. So we're going to put a pin in this one, grab those plastic rivets, come back, and put in the sensor. We are back. It's been a while, probably more than I wanted to say, probably about 2 weeks since I've started working on this hopefully repair, but life gets in the way. In the meantime, although I was able to get this in for the recall repair on the EGR cooler system. This was not being affected really by the suspect problems of the cooler leaking into the intake, anything like that, any chance of fire hazard. The tech said everything looked good, dirty as it would be expected for a car with 100 and now 20,000 miles on it. Yeah, I've put almost 8,000 miles on this thing since I really started driving it in July of last year. Anyways, it looked good. Everything got replaced, and out of a recall or warranty service, it would have been in the neighborhood of about $1,500 for parts alone, plus the labor. And I was at the dealership for about 4.5 hours, mainly half the time letting the car cool down so they could get in and do the repairs. But while they were waiting for that, they went ahead and did their multi-point inspection, and everything checked out in the vehicle as it should be. So from our repairs here last year, nothing was out of spec. Everything looked just as it should. So that's a good sign for us. It means we're doing something right here. Anyways, the last I left off, I did have to go ahead and take off this front fender and get some more of those plastic rivets. Where are some? Here we go. Oh. Pretty much are single use, and I'll show you the new ones here in just a second. Basically, this goes up, if you can see it, it pinches down and squishes So you really only get a single time out of them. You can't reuse them, and they're about $2.50 a piece at the dealer. So I got a bunch of those. I wiped them out, all their 10 they had. So I've got a couple of extras, because you're probably going to break one when you're reassembling everything. Anyways, this front fender is off. As I said before, there's a couple of Torx heads under here. There also is an 8mm socket under here on the running board, and there are two 8mm that connect this fender to the body itself. Under here you have to get at, so you can't just go ripping everything off without expecting some damage. So be mindful of that. There are some bolts under here, 3 of them. This little skirt can just kind of pop off. There's no other bolts holding it on, just some snaps and clips, just so you're able to get this free. And the fun thing is that the reservoir is back here. So I'm going to go ahead and prop this away from the car a little bit and bring the camera over here so you can see what I'm looking at. 1 second. One thing they did find on the inspection, the washer fluid was low, the light was on, they refilled it, and the light was still on. So now I have a full reservoir of fluid that is going to make a mess, because I'm really not going to take the time to siphon out washer fluid, because I have a ton over there. I actually mistakenly bought another couple of jugs of the BMW stuff when I was ordering. What was I ordering? I ordered something, I forgot what, but I ended up ordering 2 more of those BMW washer fluid jugs. They're like $5 a piece, no big deal. But they're in my cart, I didn't notice it, and well, there they are. Anyways, back to the topic. Let's move you around. Now, I still don't have a ton of space back here to work, but I believe, since my hat's in the way, I'm looking for this guy right here. I need to figure out how to extract him. Now, looking at the new piece, I believe it's just going to be a quarter twist and it comes out. So let's try that. There's my electrical connector. Let's see if it's the same one. That is not the same piece. Well, that's rather disappointing. Let me go back to the drawing board for a minute. Well, the fun continues, and as I had suspected looking at some things online, this is actually a one-piece molded integrated sensor for the fluid level, not a replaceable one. So I don't know what I was sent. It was listed as the windshield washer sensor for a 2015 BMW X5 F15 class. So it came from a dealer. Who knows? Alrighty, so we are at a dead end. The sensor I got is not correct. This tank actually has a molded in sensor that is not replaceable, even though the part I got said fits 2015 BMW X5 F15 washer fluid reservoir. It is not correct. So today I get to put the car back together with an unsolved mystery. The wiring is good. I've plugged and unplugged the connector a few times to make sure there wasn't any corrosion or crud on there. And I'm going to chalk it up to being the failed sensor, which is reported. Just, you can't replace it. Other vehicles, I believe you can take the sensor out and replace it, but not with this one. Wonderful. So I can either take it apart again, buy more of these plastic rivets, spend $100, $125 on a new tank, or run some more Prestone, or not Prestone, run some more of the BMW, yes, Prestone, green fluid through it, which is reported to clean the residue off of that sensor and clean up the issue, or I leave it. And me being me, I'm inclined not to just leave it because it's a nag on the dashboard and it's annoying. So I think in the interest of a passive fix, I'm just going to empty out some of this fluid, and you can see it's clearly full, so it's not as if I'm chasing a ghost for a half-empty tank of washer fluid. It's just hopefully that sensor. So may drain some of this out, pour in left of my what's left of my pint over there of fluid, and make it a little more concentrate. Hopefully that helps it, as that is also stated to use the OEM BMW fluid in here to help clean that sensor off, or that green Prestone stuff, which is sort of a unicorn around here. That orange stuff is the reported nasty stuff that creates a film to cause a problem. I've never put that in here, but I can see traces of orange buildup inside the tank here. So I'm guessing at some point a previous owner did, and now I'm stuck with that. So no resolve at the end of this video, unfortunately, but we can continue down the path of troubleshooting and trying to clear up with some more fluid, because A, I don't want to take it apart again, and B, I'm not cheap, I'm just not wanting to spend money on it right now. But this video didn't have a happy ending, I guess, but up above you can see the rest of our playlist from rebuilding this from Copart last year. The whole front corner here, suspension was gone, control arms, the rim was beat up, the tire was flat out missing, bumper, yeah. Check out the playlist, because we actually do accomplish something on this car. But otherwise, the big part I'm happy about is the recall work got done on it, so that from a safety perspective is done. Everything else checked out on the car. So that's I guess a positive thing for an outcome on this video. But I'm gonna wrap it up with like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. We've got a ton of other projects that actually have some, resolve at the end of them, completing something, unlike this. And yeah, drop a comment. What would you do in this case? Would you leave it? Would you fix it? I mean, it's not going to a dealer to get fixed, because that's what I found is $500 to $700 to have them fix it, parts and labor, because the fender comes off, yada, yada, yada. That's not me. Went to the dealer for the recall, everything checked out. It probably won't go back to the dealer unless something major happens that I can't fix. So until the next time we have a video here, keep working on your cars. Hopefully it turns out better than this. We'll see you all real soon. Bye-bye.